Welcome to Gavels Down, Voices Up with me, Rachel King. This is where we leave convention at the courtroom door and dive into your real stories, bold and unpopular opinions, and change-making ideas that really shake the legal world up and change where change is desperately needed. I'm here to shake it up, talk about unfiltered insights, and amplify voices that need to be heard. So are you ready? Let's get it. Put the gavels down and the voices up. In today's episode, we're going to put a spotlight on our elders, seniors, the silver generation, the boomers, whatever we're calling them, whatever your preference is. Today's episode is all about you, focusing on protecting our seniors from abuse and financial exploitation. This is a serious topic. And I'm going to be sharing some serious information, but hopefully we'll bring some levity and maybe some things to look forward to if there is any, with some resources. Welcome to Gavels Down, Voices Up with me, Rachel King. This is where we leave convention at the courtroom door and dive into your real stories, bold and unpopular opinions, and change-making ideas that really shake the legal world up and change where change is desperately needed. I'm here to shake it up, talk about unfiltered insights, and amplify voices that need to be heard. So are you ready? Let's get it. Put the gavels down and the voices up. So we're going to be focused generally on elder abuse. Nothing in this is legal advice. And for some of the particulars, I'm going to be relying on California. Though I'm licensed in other states, California is primarily where I practice. And so if any time I talk about specific laws, just know that it's really important to talk to an attorney in your area about the laws that are going to be specific for that situation. All right. So what is an elder or a senior, right? That's the big thing. We hear about this area of law and it's like, well, who even is considered an elder? Like, who are we talking about? So in most cases, we're talking about somebody that is over 65 years old. Sometimes there's ways to pull in somebody that is over 60 years old. Sometimes we can pull in a dependent adult. A dependent adult is somebody who's over 18, but not quite in that 65 age group, but that really relies on other people to make their everyday decisions. So when we're talking about this area of law, we're really focused, generally speaking, on those over 65 years old. Why is this important? I think it's really important to talk about because we talk about kids all the time. And man, I have kids and we got to protect our kids and we got to raise our kids right. And they're the future generation and all of the things. But our seniors are also super important. And they're also a very vulnerable class of people. Why? Because when you're young and when you're older, you oftentimes rely on other people to help you. You tend to be more trusting. By the time somebody's a senior, they oftentimes have some kind of financial nest egg. Hopefully they have some kind of retirement funds. They don't have the ability to continue to earn money in most cases. So if they lose money or it's taken from them, it can be financially devastating. Sometimes they're lonely. And when we're lonely as people and maybe we can't get out of our house, then we turn to companionship with caregivers, and sometimes caregivers or this need for companionship results in behavior that is not nice, untoward. So that's one of the reasons that I think that this really needs to be discussed, and also is some examples of why seniors find themselves to be vulnerable. So what is elder law? Well, elder law is kind of this umbrella topic that talks not only about like financial abuse, right? Stealing money and taking things that are not yours, or convincing maybe somebody to change their will to leave you everything, but it also encompasses physical abuse. So both kinds of abuse are really, I don't want to say really common, but are common. And I think that they can be hidden very well, and we don't necessarily pay attention to them. Why? Because quite frankly, grandpa wants to go and do what grandpa wants. And who are we to tell him that he can't go to a bar and buy the whole room a couple round of drinks? Maybe somebody should be telling grandpa not to do that, because grandpa doesn't have any money and he can't pay his rent if he does that. And he really doesn't even drink alcohol. But if he does drink alcohol, there's like so many things that go into this. But because we have a hard time maybe telling the older people in our family, look, we need to start looking at some of the decisions you're making, it can be a really sticky subject, right? So physical abuse, financial abuse, that's what we're going to focus on today. Here's the hard part. Most physical and financial abuse is not from strangers, right? It's not very often, albeit it probably does happen, that somebody just comes right out and like slugs grandma in the face, right? That probably doesn't happen too often. But it may be the case that grandma has dementia and is getting angry sitting at the table because she doesn't want to eat, but you're telling her she has to eat because she hasn't eaten all day, and she's fighting you about how she has eaten and she's not hungry and she doesn't like this kind of food, even though it's like her favorite food in the whole world. And you start getting angry, and grandma's getting angry, and all of the tensions are rising. You take grandma and you just say, oh my gosh, you love this, right? Well, you're grandma's caregiver, and that would be potentially kind of physical abuse, right? Not okay. So when we're talking about where we see both physical abuse and financial abuse, it actually is the people that are closest. Think family members, caregivers, neighbors, friends, right? All of these people typically have a close, more intimate relationship with somebody who is over 65. And then because of the vulnerability and the situation, it is easier for people that are closer to take advantage. Make sure grandma and grandpa know that they should not be giving the IRS their credit card information over the phone, that the IRS isn't going to be calling them, and that their social security number was not given away and hacked by the Social Security Administration, or who knows whatever other text message and phone call scams are out there. They should know about that, right? We need to spread that kind of awareness, but we also need to spread awareness about what to look for in elder abuse, but also educating our seniors to say, hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to put up with this. Elder abuse can also be emotional. Isolation is a huge form of elder abuse. You may not like your sibling, but that doesn't mean that you get to stop mom or dad from spending time with their sibling. Isolation and keeping a senior away from their family, their friends, their kids, that is a form of abuse. It can't be done. And if you are feeling isolated, if you know somebody who's feeling isolated and doesn't have the ability to see or is being kept away, we can do something about that. There are solutions. So elder abuse can extend to emotional abuse as well. So what do I say? I say we need to, it's easy to say like, tell everybody you know, but there's specific things that I have people look for. And now for a quick break. This episode of Gavels Down, Voices Up is proudly brought to you by King Law Firm, Attorneys at Law Incorporated. We're not just about winning cases, we're about making a difference. Whether it's family law, probate litigation, or standing up against elder abuse, we bring experience, empathy, and excellence to the courtroom. At King Law Firm, we're more than lawyers. We're your team, in your corner, advocating for your rights and making your voice heard. Visit us at thelawyerking.com and on the socials at The Lawyer King to see how we can fight for you and with you. King Law Firm, Attorneys at Law Incorporated, where your fight becomes our fight. Now let's get back to today's episode. And actually, I created this handy dandy little card that I like to point out, and I'm going to read some of the questions on it that I think are really helpful because they're easy to understand and they're simple to answer. So depending on how you answer this may determine whether you are potentially the victim or at risk for being abused as a senior. So the first question, do you share personal or financial information with strangers? If you do, you may be the victim of financial elder abuse, right? Again, the IRS doesn't call you and ask you for your credit card information. Question 2, have you agreed to accept personal care from someone in exchange for property or possessions without first discussing it with a lawyer, right? This is where we see caregivers that come in, get close. I'll take care of you. I'll live with you. I'll wash your feet. I'll make you dinner. I'll do all of the things. I'll give you companionship. And all I want you to do is to change your will or write me a check or give me a large gift. So that's one of the things to ask yourself or ask somebody that you know. Another question, has someone taken something from you and refused to give it back? Did you want the Picasso or agree that the Picasso painting you have could go over to your neighbor's house for their big gala on display, but you want it back and now you can't get it back? Or there's always these excuses as to why it can't be returned right now. That's important. That could be a sign. Is someone preventing you from having contact with your friends or relatives? We talked about this. Isolation is a form of abuse, and you, as a senior, have the right to talk to and see kind of whoever you want. Are you afraid to speak up because someone threatens you or yells at you? If every time you ask your daughter if you can talk to your son or you want to go see him, are you berated and belittled and you feel now that you can't bring up anything? That's not good. That can be a sign of financial or elder abuse. Does anyone slap, kick, or restrain you in any way? These may be considered obvious, right? If somebody slaps you, but like I talked about earlier, sometimes we have seniors that have medical limitations, physical limitations, cognitive impairments that can cause frustrations. They don't get to be slapped or restrained or kicked. That's not okay. And that can be a sign of elder abuse. Are you unable to see and talk to the friends and family that you want? Again, a form of isolation. Maybe you can't visit them, but you're also not provided a cell phone or access to make any phone calls. And so you're stuck in this room, not even able to say, hey, I need help, or I'm hungry, or I have to go to the bathroom. That can be a form of elder abuse. Do you get requests for money by email, text, and phone? These are scams in most cases. And like I said, we want to make sure people are aware, not just our seniors, quite frankly, everybody. But if you are getting those or you know somebody who's getting those, it could be a sign that there is some kind of financial exploitation going on and we want to protect them. So be aware of these, share these questions with your senior. Think about it. If you are somebody that is over 65 and if you answered yes to any of them, it's time to take action. Here's some things that you may not realize about how serious this is. For financial exploitation, financial fraud and exploitation of seniors has become rampant, over $36.5 billion annually. Holy cow, these people are after our seniors. That is a ton of money. We need to stop that. Keep it in our seniors' pockets because they don't have the ability to earn it anymore. They're retired. Let them enjoy their retirement and not pass it out to the people that they don't really want to give it to you. Another thing, seniors don't typically report. So it can be going on. They can know what's going on and they still may not report it. So let's spread the word, let's spread the knowledge, and let's take out the stigma. It's okay. We can stop it. We can help. Lastly, we all love our grandma, our grandpa, mom, dad, all of the people in our lives, and victims of elder abuse pass away significantly sooner. Almost 300% increase in risk of death for a senior who is being abused. These are some of the things to look for elder abuse. There are agencies you can reach out to: Adult Protective Services, your district attorney. I hear the FBI is opening a division to specifically focus on elder abuse. It's really important that if you know something, you say something, right? That doesn't just mean with regard to our kids and all of the things, the crimes that we see out in public. This is really important for our seniors. So what can you do? Again, you can call law enforcement. You can call an attorney. We can go into court and get emergency protective measures. You can reach out to APS. You can do welfare checks. There are so many things that can be done to stop and intervene, or if something has happened, to go in and recover. The worst thing you can do is stand by and continue to let it happen. Protecting our elders is everyone's responsibility. You can make a difference in somebody else's life. All you have to do is say something. If you or somebody you know have been the victim of elder abuse, or you suspect it, reach out. I'd love to hear your story. We can share this information. We can all talk about everything we know together. On a lighter note, next week, we're going to dive into divorce. Who doesn't love divorce, or who hates divorce? Maybe everybody, but next week we're going to get emotional with some divorce. Divorce is on topic, and everybody loves to hear about other people's divorce. So let's talk about it. Thanks for tuning in to Gavels Down, Voices Up. Like what you heard? Then don't just sit there. Subscribe, share, and tell me your thoughts. I'm Rachel King, bringing not just my opinions to the mic, but about the courtroom too. Your part, keep listening, keep engaging, and until next time, let's keep those gavels down and our voices up. Unmistakably up.